Hello, peachies. Welcome back to Dear Peachy. We've all seen different ways people categorize beauty. Things like high or low visual weight, or even animal beauties. And of course, we've also talked about the 8 makeup beauty archetypes before. But recently, a new idea has been buzzing in the Chinese beauty community. It splits beauty into 2 big categories. Are you a bone-structured beauty, or are you a skin-featured beauty? No one really knows exactly where this idea started, but what makes it so fun is how practical it is. It gives us a fresh way to figure out which makeup style actually complements our natural features instead of just following trends blindly. So, what does it mean to be a bone beauty or a skin beauty? Xiang, or bone beauty, describes people with more prominent facial bone structure and deeper set features. Think of it like a sculpted statue, sharp, defined, and striking. On the other hand, Xiang, or skin beauty, refers to those with softer, less angular facial structure. Their bones don't project as strongly, but the smoothness of their soft tissue creates a delicate, gentle look. These skin beauties often have a little more flesh on their facial structure, which gives them that naturally soft, almost velvety vibe. So in today's video, we're going to dive into this concept together and help you figure out which category you might fall into. Are you more of a sculpted, bone-structured beauty, or do you lean towards the softer, skin-featured side? Once you know, we'll walk you through the makeup styles that really flatter your features, so you can make the most out of your natural beauty. Before we jump into the fun part, let's do a little self-test to get to know your features better. All you'll need are a few photos of yourself. One straight on from the front, one with your head tilted about 45 degrees, another at 90 degrees, and of course, a side profile shot. Since some of the questions in this little test involve numbers, like measuring in centimeters or checking angles, you might want to use a handy app on your phone. If you're on an iPhone, it's really easy. Just open your Gallery app, tap Edit in the top right corner, and then select the pencil icon. From there, choose the pen tool and bring up the ruler. You can drag or rotate the ruler to line up with different points on your face, then use it to measure distances or even figure out the angle between features. And if you're using an Android phone, don't worry. You can totally do this too. Just download a measuring app, like ImageMeter or something similar, and you'll be able to measure distances and angles right on your photos. Quick little disclaimer before we start the test. The results will give you a score somewhere between 4 and 100 based on your features. But please remember, this number doesn't mean good or bad. A lower score doesn't mean your features are less ideal, and a higher score doesn't mean they're automatically better. The score is simply a guide to help place you on the spectrum between soft-featured beauty and bone-structured beauty. We're definitely not here to judge, discriminate, or make anyone feel insecure. All right. Let's jump into the first question. We're going to start by looking at the ratio of your temples to your cheekbones. Take a look at your photo and compare the width. If your temples are wider than your cheekbones, give yourself 10 points. If they look about the same, mark down 6 points. And if your cheekbones are wider than your temples, your score here is 0 points. Next up, cheekbones. Use your fingers to feel for the highest point of your cheekbone. Once you've found it, draw a line across that point to see where it lines up with your eye. If the peak of your cheekbone aligns with the outer corner of your eye, give yourself 10 points. If it falls just a bit inside the outer corner, that's 4 points. If it's slightly further out, mark 2 points. And if it's positioned far away from the outer corner, your score here is 0 points. Now, for the third question, let's take a look at your forehead shape. Pull up your side profile photo and see which description matches you best. If your forehead looks rounded and a little convex, give yourself 10 points. If it's more on the straight side, that's 6 points. And if it slopes backwards, mark 2 points. Moving on to the fourth question, this one's about the shape of the back of your head. Take a look at your side profile photo again and see which one matches you best. If the back of your head is nicely rounded and convex, give yourself 10 points. If it's rounded but just a little bit flat, mark down 6 points. And if it has a flat structure, mark 0 points. For the fifth question, we're going to draw an imaginary line on your side profile photo. Start from the base of your nose bridge and draw it straight down toward your lips. Now, take a look at where your philtrum, the little groove between your nose and your upper lip, sits in relation to that line. If your philtrum extends beyond the line, give yourself 10 points. If it lines up perfectly right on the line, that's 6 points. And if it falls inside the line, your score here is 0 points. Now let's move on to the sixth question, and this one's all about your chin. Draw an imaginary line from the tip of your chin straight up to your forehead. Look closely at where the highest point of your forehead sits in relation to that line. If your forehead extends just slightly beyond the line, that's 10 points. If it sits right on the line, give yourself 6 points. If it projects much further out, mark 2 points. And if your forehead falls behind the line, meaning it's inside of it, then your score here is 0 points. Question number 7 is all about the angle of your nose bridge. On your side profile photo, draw one line from the bridge of your nose down to the tip, and another line from the bridge up toward your brow bone. Now, check the angle between these two lines. If that angle falls between 115 and 130 degrees, give yourself 10 points. But if it's larger than 130 or smaller than 115, your score for this one is 0 points. Question number 8 is a little more technical. First, measure the width across your face by connecting the highest points of both cheekbones. That's measurement A. Next, from the same cheekbone point, measure the distance to the side of your face, right at your hairline. That's measurement B. Now, take the first number and divide it by the second. If your result falls between 1.8 and 2.1, give yourself 10 points. If it's between 2.2 and 2.6, mark 6 points. If it's between 2.6 and 2.8, that's 4 points. And if it's 2.9 or higher, your score here is 0 points. Question number 9 uses the photo where your head is tilted at about 45 degrees. From that picture, draw 2 lines, one from the highest point of your left cheekbone to the tip of your nose, and another from the highest point of your right cheekbone to the nose tip. Now, measure the angle formed between those 2 lines. If the angle is exactly 90 degrees, give yourself 10 points. If it falls between 100 and 120 degrees, that's 6 points. And if it's more than 120 degrees, your score here is 0 points. And finally, question number 10. Let's check your jawline. Pull up the photo where your head is tilted at a full 90 degrees. Look closely at the angle of your jaw. If it's a sharp 90 degrees or less, give yourself 10 points. If it's between 90 and 100 degrees, that's 6 points. And if it's more than 100 degrees, go ahead and mark 2 points. Alright, now it's time to total up your points. Add together all the scores you've collected from the 10 questions. Once you have your final number, use it as a guide to see where you fall on the scale. This will show you whether you lean more towards being a bone-structured beauty, a skin-featured beauty, or if you're somewhere right in between with a balanced mix of both. So, what did your final score say about you? If your total lands between 85 and 100, you're a full-on bone-structured beauty, 100%. Think strong, sculpted features that naturally shine, even with minimal makeup. If your score falls between 65 and 85, you're a beautiful blend of both, leaning about 65% towards bone beauty and 35% towards skin beauty. You've got that balance of structure and softness that gives you so many styling options. If your score is between 30 and 65, you're also a mix of both worlds, but with the emphasis flipped. That means you're about 65% skin beauty and 35% bone beauty, which gives you a softer, more delicate vibe while still having a touch of definition. And finally, if your score falls between 4 and 30, congrats! You're a true skin-featured beauty, 100%. Gentle, smooth, and naturally soft, your features give off that graceful, approachable glow. Comment down below your score and let us know which type of beauty you are. So now that you know whether you lean more towards bone beauty, skin beauty, or somewhere in between, the big question is, how does this actually help us when we're styling ourselves? Knowing your category isn't just a fun label, it's a guide to finding the makeup looks that bring out the very best in your features. Let's start with bone beauty looks. If your results lean toward bone beauty, then you'll definitely want to play with the bone-structured makeup technique. This style is all about sculpting and enhancing your natural bone structure, so your angles and definition truly stand out. Bone beauty usually comes with sharper, more prominent features. Think high cheekbones, defined jawlines, and deep-set eyes. Instead of softening them, this technique celebrates and elevates those features, creating a look that feels bold, confident, and effortlessly striking. The key of bone-structured makeup lies in contour and dimension. It focuses on enhancing the natural lines of the face, from the forehead and jaw to the inner contours like the nose, eye sockets, cheekbones, and brow bone. Contour plays the most crucial role here as it helps balance facial proportions. This is done by applying it strategically across the horizontal thirds and vertical fifths of the face, just like we showed in our previous video. The base often uses 2 different shades of foundation to create that perfect play of light and shadow, balancing and highlighting the natural highs and lows of your facial structure. Brows are shaped with precision to harmonize with the overall proportions of the face. Eyeshadow is used to add depth and definition, whether that's elongating, lifting, or widening the eyes. Blush placement is never random. It's carefully chosen to complement the angles of your face, while lips are often contoured or slightly overlined to bring balance to the whole look. The makeup styles that follow bone-structured techniques include dye makeup, Korean idol looks, and Western styles such as cut crease, smoky eyes, and even goth-inspired makeup. These styles are all about creating strong visual impact and presence, highlighting the sharpness and prominence of facial features. Different makeup styles suit different levels of bone beauty. If your features lean strongly toward the higher end of bone structure, then Western or Thai makeup looks will complement you best with their bold definition. On the other hand, if you fall into a more balanced category, a mix of both softness and stronger bone features, but still leaning toward the bone side, then the Korean idol makeup style or the Thai makeup is an ideal match for you. For Thai and Western looks especially, the base makeup is usually matte to create a clean canvas. The focus is placed on the eyes and brows. Brows are shaped and defined, often with a full boy brow effect using gels. Eye makeup relies on deeper, richer colors that add dimension and depth, with blending across larger areas. Techniques like cut creases, inner corner highlights, and gradient shading emphasize the play of light and shadow on the eyelids. Eyeliner is also key, whether it's extended wings, full wraparound liner, or smoky smudges along the waterline, often paired with falsies for extra drama. Of course, contouring and highlighting are essential here, sculpting the face to enhance structure. Lips, on the other hand, are usually kept more understated with nude, mauve, or deeper muted tones, balancing out the strong eye focus. However, Korean idol makeup looks are slightly different from the Thai and Western styles we just mentioned. Compared to the richer and more dramatic effects of Western or Thai makeup, Korean idol makeup tends to appear softer, lighter, and more airy. Still, there is a strong emphasis on contouring the facial structure and enhancing the eyes, and the reason for this is very specific. Under bright stage lights and harsh camera angles, facial features can easily look flat or washed out. To counter this, Korean idol makeup relies on precise contouring and defined eye looks to preserve depth, dimension, and stage presence both under the lights and on camera. Similarly, their base makeup usually has a matte finish, creating a smooth canvas for the rest of the look. The eyeshadow shades lean towards softer, natural tones such as earthy or muted colors. Rich or deep shades are used sparingly, often placed precisely on smaller areas rather than across the entire lid. The blending is seamless, giving the eyes a gentle transition of colors. Unlike Western looks that emphasize the upper lid, Korean idol makeup often shifts the focus to the lower lash line, while the outer corners of the upper lid are deepened with darker tones to elongate the eyes. Tight lining is considered essential to add depth, with the eyeliner extended outward in a fine, straight line rather than a dramatic wing. The brows are kept softer and natural, emphasizing fluffiness and visible hair strokes rather than sharp definition. For the complexion, muted blush tones like coral, nude pink, or toasted shades are used to subtly contour the cheeks. The lips are softly contoured as well, with less saturated colors to keep attention lifted toward the eyes. Skin-featured beauty makeup techniques work in the opposite way. Instead of highlighting sharp bone structure, they emphasize the fleshiness, plumpness, and softness of the face. The focus is on color harmony and shade coordination, creating a look that reduces angularity and minimizes any overly bony appearance. The overall goal is to bring out a sense of atmosphere and softness, giving the face a gentle, effortless glow. Skin-featured makeup looks focus on the evenness of the skin, the fluffiness of brows and lashes, and the natural complexion. The base makeup is usually dewy or satin finish in order to bring out the skin's natural glow. The foundation is applied to even out skin tone and create a smooth, clean canvas. Brows are slightly darkened and fluffed up with brow gel to emphasize natural brow hairs and give them soft volume. For the eyes, eyeshadow is applied with precision and built up gradually to create depth. Unlike bone-structured techniques that emphasize contour and angularity, skin-featured eyeshadow uses a gradient of shades, from light to deep, to add soft dimension to the gaze. Airy, natural-looking lashes are essential to keep the eyes bright and captivating. Blush is usually applied over a wider area of the cheeks to mimic a healthy, flushed complexion. Finally, the lip color tends to stay close to the overall palette of the look, harmonizing with the skin, eyes, and cheeks to create a cohesive and soft finish. There are many different makeup styles that align well with skin-featured beauty techniques, most of which are Asian-inspired. These include the fresh and youthful Korean light makeup, the soft and natural Japanese Igari look, the elegant and delicate Chinese antique styles, the radiant light Asian sun-kissed look, and even the effortlessly chic French makeup style. If you're a 100% skin-featured beauty, the Korean light makeup and Japanese Igari style will flatter you the most, as they highlight softness and natural charm. On the other hand, if you're a blend of both beauties, leaning more towards skin-featured with just a touch of bone-structured, then the Chinese antique look and the light Asian sun-kissed style are perfect choices for you. The essence of Korean light makeup is all about looking fresh, airy, glowy, and healthy, that effortless my face but better vibe. The focus is on creating a radiant complexion that looks like naturally healthy skin. The base is usually dewy, giving off a hydrated, plump, and luminous finish. For the brows, the shape tends to be straight or softly arched, nothing too harsh. They're lightly filled in, just enough to look fuller, but still natural. When it comes to the eyes, the look stays minimal and soft. Lighter eyeshadow shades are used to depuff and brighten the lids, while the emphasis is on tightlining to subtly define the eyes. Lashes are styled into that signature separated, fluttery look for a delicate finish. And of course, the under-eye fat contour or aiguiselle is a signature step. This adds a youthful dimension and makes the eyes look wider. A touch of shimmer in the center of the under-eye fat gives a bright, sparkling effect that completes the look. Blush is essential for this look. Opt for neutral tones that flatter your skin, such as light pink, coral, or toasted brown, to naturally brighten your complexion. Apply the blush over wider areas of the cheeks, but keep it sheer and soft so it blends seamlessly with your skin. Cream or liquid blushes work best for achieving that effortless, natural finish. For the lips, a touch of gloss is almost always the go-to. The shine enhances the plump, fresh look of the face while keeping it youthful. Stick to gentle, natural shades. Think coral, pink, rose, or muted red bean tones that tie the whole look together without overpowering it. The Japanese igari look is quite similar to Korean light makeup, but it leans more toward a natural vibe, focusing on the feels of raw, untouched beauty, skin texture, and overall atmosphere or mood of the look rather than sculpting facial features. The base is kept airy and light coverage. It doesn't need to be flawless. Freckles or slight unevenness are embraced as part of the charm. Brows also take on a slightly different approach compared to Korean styles. Instead of being defined, they are left looking more natural, often straight or softly rounded, giving a gentle and blurred effect. For the eyes, low saturation, earthy tones are preferred. A subtle tightline on the inner lash line is usually enough, with minimal emphasis on lashes. Just a few coats of mascara to maintain the fresh, natural finish. The look wouldn't be complete without the signature drunk blush. Choose slightly deeper tones, preferably warm reds with sheer finish, and apply them to the center of the cheeks, right beneath the eyes. Blend the color in a soft, rounded shape to mimic a naturally flushed, just a little tipsy glow. For the lips, matte or subtly glossy finishes work best. Stick to natural or low saturation shades and blend softly along the edges of the lips to create a blurred, undefined lip line that enhances the effortless vibe. Both of these makeup styles avoid heavy contouring or dark sculpting shades. Instead, the focus is on creating translucency and a naturally flushed, healthy glow. The aim is to let the skin's freshness show through, while the blush adds dimension and warmth without relying on strong contour lines. If your beauty leans more towards skin featured with a hint of bone-structured elegance, then the Chinese ancient makeup and the low-saturation Asian sun-kissed look are perfect choices to try. Both styles beautifully balance the soft fleshiness of skin-featured beauty with the refined definition of bone structure, using subtle, targeted contouring to enhance rather than overpower. In traditional Chinese makeup looks, there's a concept called keeping the blanks, inspired by classical Chinese painting, where leaving empty spaces creates balance and harmony within the artwork. The same principle applies to this style of makeup. By using minimal colors and carefully placed contour, the look enhances natural features without overwhelming them, perfectly complementing skin-featured beauties. To bring out the taut and porcelain-like quality of the skin, a matte finish foundation is preferred, creating a flawless, refined base. The brows are kept thin and softly rounded, resembling the delicate shape of willow leaves. They appear clean and gentle, avoiding sharp or overly structured lines. For the eyes, earth-tone shadows are applied with precision to small areas, maintaining subtle depth rather than bold drama. The eyeliner plays a defining role, usually in soft brown tones, to tightline and extend the eyes with a fine, elongated line, giving a serene, graceful gaze. Blush is kept minimal and understated, serving more as a tool to enhance complexion and subtly shape proportions than to add vibrancy or mood. Compared to the Korean and Japanese makeup styles we talked about earlier, this look pays more attention to contour and highlight. The contour is applied with a very light hand, focusing on the areas that naturally protrude to soften the angles and create a more rounded, balanced face shape. A matte highlighter also plays a key role here. It helps to enhance the appearance of firm, taut skin, giving the overall look a polished yet natural finish. Finally, the lips are completed with matte or velvet finishes in shades like muted red bean or warm red, harmonizing with the overall earthy palette. The result is a reserved yet captivating kind of beauty, one that feels timeless and deeply elegant. The low-saturation Asian sun-kissed look blends the essence of both Western and Asian beauty styles. It borrows the structured application techniques of Western makeup, but softens them with Asian preferences, using low-saturation shades and a lighter hand. The result is a look that feels gentle, natural, and reserved. The key lies in choosing softer tones with muted saturation. Instead of relying on stark contrasts, the shades across the face, whether light or deep, remain within a close range, creating seamless harmony. Contour and highlight are also kept subtle, with tones that do not stray far from the natural skin shade. The base for this look usually leans towards a matte or sometimes satin finish. To maintain harmony, the tones used for the eyes, lips, and blush are kept within a similar color family. Warm pinks and soft corals are the most common choices. Compared to the previous styles, the brows in this look are shaped more precisely, with brow hairs emphasized using a brow gel for definition. Flare-out falsies is almost a must to extend the length of your eyes in these looks. Contour is applied with a slightly heavier hand to highlight the natural bone structure, giving the face a more dainty and refined appearance. Sometimes, contouring shade blushes are used to create the warm, sun-kissed look to sculpt the face. The inner contour and under eyes are brightened with a lighter shade concealer or matte highlighter. To make the eyes pop, a shimmery highlighter is added to the inner corners too. If you want to take it a step further, you can also add in a little egg ysael contouring. It's a subtle touch that enhances the youthful fullness under your eyes, and it blends beautifully with both Asian and Western-inspired styles. For the lips, both matte and gloss finishes work well. Popular shade choices include nude, mauve, red bean paste, milk tea, rose, and other warm tones, which add depth while still keeping the overall look natural and cohesive. Now you've discovered whether you lean more towards skin beauty or bone beauty, and you already know the styles that naturally flatter your features. But what if you feel like switching things up and exploring the opposite aesthetic? For instance, if you're a skin-featured beauty who admires the sharp elegance of bone-structured looks, here's how you can play with balance. By revisiting each question we did just now, you'll see which areas of your face are naturally softer or more defined. Let's begin with the first item, the width difference between the temple region and the cheekbones. For a balanced bone-structured look, the temples should appear slightly wider than the cheekbones. If your temples are naturally narrower, no worries. Simply style your hair with more volume at the temples. This creates the illusion of broader temples, harmonizes with your cheekbones, and gives you that polished, refined bone beauty impression. The second item looks at the level of cheekbone protrusion. If the peak of your cheekbone sits beyond the outer corner of your eye, you can use contouring to emphasize this structure. Apply contour starting from the hairline, following along the highest point of the cheekbone, and blend it toward the outer corner of the eye. Then, to balance and lift, Place a matte highlighter on the center of your cheeks, beginning at the level of the inner corner of the eye, bringing slightly toward the nose and flicking it upward toward the outer corner. Extend the highlight all the way to the temple, layering it just above the contour. This contrast between shadow and light sharpens your bone structure and creates that sculpted, refined look. If your cheekbones sit inside of the outer corner of your eyes, place the contour directly along your cheekbones. Blend the shadow inward so that it visually aligns with the outer eye corner, creating balance. To finish, add a touch of matte highlighter right at the end of the contour. This mimics the natural light hitting the highest point of your cheekbones and enhances their peak in a subtle, elegant way. Item number 3 looks at the shape of your forehead. If your forehead has a slanted or flatter shape, you can easily bring more dimension to it. Apply matte highlighter to the center of your forehead. This creates a gentle forward projection effect, making the area appear naturally elevated and more defined. It's a simple touch that instantly enhances balance and adds brightness to your overall look. The shape of the back of your head also plays a role in your overall look. To bring out that bone-structured beauty vibe, choose hairstyles that add visual volume at the crown and nape areas. Hairstyles like a French twist or updo, and also banana clips are your best friend. This extra fullness helps create a more rounded and defined silhouette, balancing your features and enhancing your profile. Item 5 and 6 examines the structure of your mid-face in relation to your chin. If the philtrum sits further out of alignment with the vertical axis from your nose bridge down to your lips, you can use contouring to restore balance. Apply matte highlighter to the nose alar, mouth corners, and chin to subtly lift and plump these areas. Then, use contour on the sides of the chin, just below the lower lip, and along the cupid's bow to refine and define. This contrast of highlight and shadow enhances overall symmetry and creates a more sculpted look. On the other hand, if the forehead falls behind the axis, to elevate the facial structure towards a more bone-defined beauty, contour is applied at the sides of the chin to create the V-shape effect. Then, matte highlighter is added to the base of the chin and lower mouth corners to extend the length. Item 7 looks at the angle of your nose bridge. According to the actual test on Xiang, angles smaller than 115 or larger than 130 contribute to higher scores toward the standards of bone-structured beauty. But honestly, that feels a little too rigid. Since the test only provides 2 options, within 115 to 130 degree or outside that range, it comes across as too black and white. We think this should be taken with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, your nose is just one small piece of the bigger puzzle. It doesn't define your overall beauty type. What matters more is learning how to bring out the best in your own nose shape. Next, items number 8, 9, and 10 focus on the depth and degree of forward projection of your facial structure. A higher degree of forward projection creates a narrower appearance and greater depth to the face shape. From the side profile, stronger projection makes the face appear wider, which emphasizes the overall depth. In simpler terms, the narrower your face appears from the front, the closer it aligns with the refined features associated with bone-structured beauty. To achieve this illusion, contour and highlight play a key role. Begin by contouring the sides of the forehead, starting from the brow arch and blending outward toward the brow tail. Next, highlight the area above the brow head and toward the arch to bring forward brightness, and also add highlight at the center of the forehead between the brows to enhance dimension and projection. This combination creates the effect of a 3-dimensional forward structure. For the cheekbones, apply contour in a slanted shape along the natural line of the cheekbone, extending outward toward the jawline. Then, add highlight at the points where the contour fades, as well as at the temples. This balance of shadow and light creates a soft yet defined V-shaped effect, drawing attention to the center of the face and enhancing its structured look. So by analyzing the results of each question in the test, we can identify which areas to enhance in order to bring out more definition. This isn't only helpful for those who don't fall under the bone-structured beauty category, but also for those who already do. Even if you naturally have bone-structured features, knowing how to refine and accentuate them allows you to elevate your look further, pushing your visual game closer to the very peak of that beauty spectrum. When it comes to skin-featured beauty, the essence lies in celebrating radiance, glowing skin, a healthy complexion, and the effortless charm of a natural look. Unlike bone-structured beauty, which emphasizes definition and sharpness, skin-featured beauty leans into softness, luminosity, and the play of colors and light. Here, makeup is less about carving out structure and more about enhancing depth, glow, and vitality. These techniques are not limited only to those who naturally fall into the skin-featured archetype. They can also be embraced by individuals with bone-structured features who want to adapt their look for a softer, dewy aesthetic. Similarly, those who already embody this archetype can refine and elevate their natural features to master the art of skin-featured beauty. Because skin-featured beauty is often characterized by rounder, less defined bone structure, it carries less dimension. So, when shifting from dimension-focused makeup to feature-focused makeup, the attention naturally moves toward the eyes and cheeks. Eyeshadow in different tones, soft shimmers, eyeliner, lashes, and egg-yocel contour can create captivating eye looks that draw attention and dimension. Blush is also applied generously and blended across wider areas to achieve that fresh, flushed effect that instantly livens up the face. Where bone structure is softer, such as the jawline and cheekbones, there is no need to rely on heavy contour. Instead, definition is created through inner contouring to enhance the plumpness of the flesh. Subtle shading along the nose root, bridge, and tip gives a delicate refinement, while a touch of highlighter on these points lifts and accentuates. Matte highlighters can also be powerful tools. It can be used strategically on areas like the tear troughs, inner cheeks, and sides of the nose to create a lifted, plump effect that adds forward projection and tautness. Finally, what truly completes skin-featured beauty is glow. Dewiness and luminosity are at its heart, so shimmery highlighters and radiant eyeshadows are the essentials. They are applied across the lids, cheekbones, and nose. They create the illusion of plump, hydrated skin. A glossy lip can also tie the look together, enhancing the dewy aesthetic and giving the face a fresh, glowy finish. In this way, skin-featured beauty becomes not just about softness, but about juiciness, liveliness, and radiance. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that this video isn't about putting ourselves into a box. It's really about awareness. Whether our score leans more toward bone-structured beauty or skin-featured beauty, the real magic is in knowing how to highlight what makes us unique. So let's treat these insights as a starting point, not the finish line. We get to play, experiment, and discover how even the smallest shifts can bring out the best in us. So what kind of beauty are you? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Goodbye.